Welcome to the Vitality Equation, exploring research in health and well-being one paper at a time.
Hey everyone, excited to dive into today's topic. It sounds pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, me too. Always interesting to see how the latest research connects to what we already know, and especially how we can apply it.
Absolutely. Today we're looking at some research around personalized sleep and circadian rhythm interventions and how they could really boost the performance of emergency medical responders. We're talking about a systems biology perspective on stress, decision-making, and cognitive function under pressure, which is a mouthful, I know.
A mouthful indeed, but a crucial one. These are the people on the front lines, making life or death decisions constantly. Anything we can do to sharpen their focus and resilience is huge.
Exactly. Think about the sleep deprivation alone, constantly shifting schedules, high stress situations. It's a recipe for burnout and compromised performance.
Totally. And that's where this personalized approach comes in. It's not just about telling them to get more sleep. It's about understanding their individual circadian rhythms, their stress responses, and tailoring interventions accordingly.
Right, because a blanket recommendation of 8 hours of sleep isn't going to cut it. Some people are naturally morning people, others are night owls. Forcing them into a schedule that doesn't align with their natural rhythms is counterproductive.
And think about the specific demands of the job. A paramedic, for example, might need to be able to perform complex tasks accurately and quickly at 3 a.m. after being jolted awake by a call. That requires a different level of preparation than, say, someone working a regular day shift.
Exactly. So let's dive into the research itself a bit. One area that caught my eye was the idea of the nucleus forming a dynamic contact with the plasma membrane to maintain the glandular epithelial architecture. What do you guys think?
Whoa, that's getting down into the nitty-gritty of cellular biology. So, we're talking about the nucleus, the control center of the cell, constantly interacting with the plasma membrane, the outer boundary. How does that even relate to emergency responders?
Well, if we think about it, those glandular epithelial cells are responsible for hormone production, right? And hormones play a huge role in stress response, sleep regulation, and cognitive function. So, if that dynamic contact is disrupted, it could throw everything off balance.
That's where my mind went to, the interconnectedness of it all. The article mentioning the nucleus's role in glandular structure piqued my curiosity. Could meditation and specific mindfulness practices, focusing on bodily sensations, help me gain more insight into the nuanced communication occurring within my own body, mirroring this nucleus-plasma membrane interaction? It feels like such a far reach, but maybe not.
That's a really interesting thought, actually. I'm thinking about it from a cognitive perspective. Learning about the nucleus's role in maintaining glandular architecture makes me consider how cognitive biases might be similarly influencing cellular communication pathways. I mean, if the nucleus is constantly talking to the membrane, are there cognitive distortions that are jamming the signal, so to speak? This could open avenues for targeted cognitive interventions to improve health outcomes.
That's a fascinating analogy. So, like, negative thought patterns could be disrupting cellular communication. I love that. It makes me think if the nucleus-plasma membrane dynamic reveals the intricate mechanisms within glandular cells. This implies that effective exercise strategies might need to go beyond just the macro level and incorporate a deeper cellular level approach for maximum benefit. I mean, could we target specific exercises to improve cellular function and then the gland is healthier and so on?
It's all about optimizing the system at every level, isn't it? It reminds me of how I approach my own well-being. I try to be mindful of my thoughts, my diet, my sleep. Everything is interconnected. If I'm stressed and not sleeping well, it affects my immune system, my energy levels, everything.
Exactly. And for emergency responders, the stakes are even higher. They're constantly in fight or flight mode, which can lead to chronic stress and dysregulation of the ATPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is a key part of the stress response system. I mean, it's so interlinked.
Right, and chronic stress can wreak havoc on sleep quality. It's a vicious cycle. Stress leads to poor sleep, which leads to even more stress, which further impairs sleep. And that dynamic contact between the nucleus and plasma membrane is probably getting hammered in the process.
So how do we break that cycle? That's where the personalized interventions come in. Things like sleep chronotherapy, which involves gradually shifting someone's sleep schedule to better align with their natural circadian rhythm.
Yes, and we can use CBT techniques to restructure someone's thought patterns and give them techniques to deal with the stress in their life. I've identified a potential avenue for applying CBT techniques. If the nuclear-plasma membrane interaction is crucial for glandular epithelial health, perhaps disrupting negative thought patterns, could be akin to disrupting a faulty communication pathway in the cell. This could illuminate new approaches to helping patients build adaptive thought pathways.
And incorporating exercise. I am thinking fascinating. Understanding the nucleus-plasma membrane connection could lead to incredibly targeted exercise and sleep routines, not just broad lifestyle changes for enhancing glandular health. This makes me excited about developing new and personalized approaches to exercise. Specific cardiovascular and strength training routines can improve stress resilience and hormonal balance, and then help with sleep. And all of that could theoretically have downstream benefits on that nuclear membrane interaction.
It's like creating a positive feedback loop instead of a negative one. Better sleep, reduced stress, improved cognitive function, enhanced physical performance. It all feeds into itself.
And let's not forget the decision-making aspect. Emergency responders are constantly making split-second decisions under immense pressure. Cognitive fatigue and sleep deprivation can severely impair their judgment and reaction time.
Absolutely. And those decisions can have life or death consequences. So anything we can do to optimize their cognitive function is crucial.
Think about the implications for patient care. A well-rested, mentally sharp paramedic is going to be able to assess the situation more accurately, make better treatment decisions, and ultimately provide better care to the patient.
It's a system-wide benefit. Better patient outcomes, reduced risk of errors, and improved well-being for the responders themselves. It's a win-win-win.
Exactly. And from a public health perspective, it's an investment in the overall safety and well-being of the community.
So how do we translate this research into real-world applications? Like, it's one thing to understand the science, but it's another thing to implement effective interventions.
That's the million-dollar question. I think the first step is education and awareness. We need to educate emergency medical service EMS agencies and healthcare organizations about the importance of personalized sleep and circadian rhythm interventions. They need to understand that this isn't just a nice to have, it's a necessity.
Yeah, and we need to equip them with the tools and resources to implement these interventions. Things like access to sleep specialists, cognitive behavioral therapists, and personalized exercise programs.
And let's not forget the importance of leadership support. The organization needs to create a culture that values sleep and well-being. That means providing adequate time for rest and recovery, and discouraging the glorification of overwork and sleep deprivation.
Right. It's about changing the mindset from I can sleep when I'm dead to I need to sleep to save lives.
Exactly. And that requires a top-down commitment. Leaders need to model healthy sleep habits and prioritize the well-being of their employees.
One practical application could be implementing fatigue risk management systems in EMS agencies. These systems use data to identify and mitigate fatigue-related risks, such as scheduling errors and inadequate rest periods.
And we can use wearable technology to track sleep patterns and circadian rhythms. This data can be used to personalize interventions and monitor their effectiveness. I am so excited to use this tech and create some algorithms to predict performance.
Yeah, fitness trackers and sleep monitors can provide valuable insights into an individual's sleep habits and physical activity levels. That data can then be used to tailor exercise programs and sleep hygiene recommendations.
It's about using data to empower individuals to take control of their own health and well-being, to notice the feedback loop in their body so they can adjust accordingly.
Definitely. And we can use cognitive training programs to improve cognitive function and stress resilience. These programs can help emergency responders develop coping mechanisms for dealing with stressful situations and maintain focus under pressure.
And let's not underestimate the power of peer support. Creating a supportive environment where emergency responders can share their experiences and challenges can help reduce stress and prevent burnout.
Absolutely. It's about fostering a sense of community and camaraderie where individuals feel supported and understood. Remember, it is interlinked.
And ongoing research is crucial. We need to continue to investigate the impact of personalized sleep and circadian rhythm interventions on the performance and well-being of emergency responders. A deeper understanding of the interplay between mental state and immune function in cutaneous Lyme disease could reveal novel therapeutic avenues beyond current approaches.
Agreed. And we need to explore the long-term effects of these interventions. How do they impact the health and longevity of emergency responders over time? If CD8 plus GZMK plus EIFNG plus T cells are a key component of the immune response in Lyme disease, then optimizing physical fitness and sleep quality could potentially bolster this immune function, creating a healthier immune system capable of fighting such infections.
So, looking ahead, what are some of the most promising directions for future research? From my perspective, I'm really interested in exploring the potential of mindfulness and meditation practices to improve sleep quality, reduce stress, and enhance cognitive function in emergency responders. I really would like to see more mindfulness meditation and feedback loops with body and brain scans. Learning about CD8 plus GZMK plus IFNG plus T cells gives me a tangible example of how immune cells are involved in fighting illness. Now I'm thinking more deeply about the importance of holistic wellness and how daily habits can significantly influence my cellular health, a very motivating perspective.
From a cognitive perspective, I think there's a lot of potential in developing personalized cognitive training programs that target specific cognitive skills that are critical for emergency responders, such as attention, working memory, and decision-making. And I'm also interested in exploring the role of cognitive biases in decision-making under pressure and how we can mitigate their impact. I am ready to create some training programs and test them. The finding that CD8 plus GZMK plus IFNG plus T cells are key players in cutaneous Lyme disease suggests a potential avenue for cognitive behavioral interventions that could bolster this crucial immune response. This aligns with the idea that altering thought patterns might influence physiological processes, opening up a fascinating research frontier.
And from an exercise and sleep perspective, I think there's a lot of potential in developing personalized exercise programs that are tailored to the specific demands of the job. For example, incorporating high-intensity interval training IIT to improve cardiovascular fitness and stress resilience. And I'm also interested in exploring the impact of different sleep strategies, such as napping and sleep extension, on cognitive function and performance. How might specific exercise regimens or sleep hygiene practices directly impact the activation and proliferation of the CD8 plus GZMK plus the IFNG plus?
It's all about finding the right combination of interventions to optimize the health and well-being of these vital members of our community. And it's incredible to connect the seemingly abstract practice of meditation to the physical mechanisms of the immune system. This makes the importance of lifestyle changes feel truly tangible. Maybe there are lifestyle choices I can adopt to not only improve my overall well-being, but also proactively support my immune system.
Agreed. By taking a systems biology perspective and considering the complex interplay between sleep, circadian rhythms, stress, and cognitive function, we can develop more effective interventions to support the performance and well-being of emergency responders. Learning about the nucleus's role in maintaining glandular architecture makes me consider how cognitive biases might be similarly influencing cellular communication pathways. This could open avenues for targeted cognitive interventions to improve health outcomes.
Absolutely. And by prioritizing their health and well-being, we can ensure that they are able to continue providing the critical services that our communities rely on. This research points towards a strong link between physical and immune health. It suggests that the body's capacity to fight disease may depend on more than just the immune system itself, but also on lifestyle choices, which resonates profoundly with my interest in the positive impacts of exercise and sleep on the body and mind.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on the Vitality Equation. We hope you found this discussion informative and inspiring. Remember, small, incremental changes can make a big difference in your overall health and well-being.
Thanks for tuning in. And remember, take care of your mind and your body will follow.
And get some sleep. It's more important than you think. Until next time.